Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this video is going to cover the results for my March budget. So I'm just going to open up, this is just my monthly spread, which I've already completed my week 4 check-in. So if you haven't seen that video, please check that video out. And I do notice that I didn't check off my expenses or my bill payment, so just to complete that. But this is my monthly view where I track my expenses, so that's what you see all laid out here. And this is just my expense legend, which details out what categories are included for which colors. So if you didn't see my check-in videos, please refer back to those because I do speak about this card. Also in my monthly view, I'm just tracking in the notes section some variable expenses as well as my 52-week challenge, which I'm currently doing. And so that also is discussed in my weekly check-in videos as well. So just to move over to my budget. So this is my March budget and it does look a little bit bare, but as I explained in my March budget plan with me, I will not be disclosing my income. It's a personal decision. But at this time, I just decided that I will fill in everything as far as my variable and fixed expenses on camera, and then I will complete the income portion off camera. So with that said, I'm just going to get right into filling out the expenses for my, completing my budgeted and actual expenses for the month of March. And so I know that March has been a tough month for us all. There's been a lot of changes as far as work and school and things like that, because I've been working from home for the last 2 weeks because the kids have been out of school, and I'm very blessed to be able to do so. And I hope that everybody and their family is doing well during this time, because we will get through this. So starting off on my variable side with my allowance, I did make a conscious decision to go over on my allowance because I was out doing some grocery shopping and things of that nature, just to make sure that we had enough food and kind of like snack items, things like that for the kids since they're going to be home. So I made a conscious decision to just go over in a few areas. And then what I plan to do is in the April budget, I plan to just decrease my budget a little bit in those areas just to make up, because I'll already have some other things on hand. So I won't keep rambling on. I'll just get right into it. So for my budgeted category for my variable, I did not total it up initially. Let me just zoom you guys in a little. I did not total it up initially because I was doing the 52-week challenge, and since I'm drawing the numbers at random, I don't really know what the amount is going to be. But as I explained in my week 4 check-in, what I'm going to do moving forward is, for this category on the variable side, I'm going to plan for the highest 4 numbers that are still in my jar that I could possibly pick. And I'll add that number to my budgeted amount, and then I'll put the actual amount based on what I pick for each of the weeks through when I do my weekly check-in. So that's how I'll move forward, so that way I'm able to total this up during my initial budget video. So just to total up for what I have budgeted for variable expenses is 100 plus 60 plus 150, 400, 150, 60, 100, and then 73 is a total of $1,093. $93. Okay, and I just want to total up, before I add in my actuals, I'm just going to go ahead and total up my fixed expense side as well. So 440 plus 402 plus 120 plus 257. And the reason that I didn't total this side up when I was initially setting up my budget is because I was making some changes to some of my sinking funds and I didn't have the correct total at the time. So total for my fixed expenses is $2,713.31. So to come back to my actual, for my allowance, my actual expenditure was $142. And then for beauty, I did spend $60. For eating out, I spent the entire $150, which I spent very early on in the month. For groceries, I spent a total of $583, which I said was a conscious decision to go over. For my grooming cash envelope, I'm going to put it down for $150 because I did put the entire $150 in my envelope and I plan to continue and roll that forward. Although I didn't have any expenditures for the month of March. For household, I did spend $60. For school lunch, I did add the entire amount, the entire $100 to my son's lunch account. So although he has not been to school, he'll just still have money on the account for whenever they go back. And if that isn't this year, the money still will roll over for next year. So for unbudgeted, I spent $0 in this category this month, which is great. And then for my 52-week challenge, I added in the $73 during my check-in. So as I said, I'm going to budget for the highest 4 numbers I could possibly pick for next month. And then I'll add the actual based on the numbers that I select. So for allowance, I am over by $42. For beauty, there was no overage. For eating out, no overage. For groceries, I am over a total of $183. For grooming, there's no overage. For household, no overage. School lunch, no overage. Unbudgeted, no overage. And 52-week challenge was no overage as well. So just to add up, my actual was 142 plus 60 plus 150 plus 583 plus 150 plus 60 plus 100 plus 73. So my actual was $1,318. And for my overage, it was a total of 42 plus a negative 183. It's a total of $225. So I'm over in my variable by $225. And so just to move my numbers down, so for my budgeted expenses for a variable, it was $1,093, and the budgeted amount for my fixed expenses was $2,713.31. And my actual expenses for variable was $1,318, and my actual expenses for my fixed was actually different as well, because due to the school closures being extended, I did not pay daycare this month. excuse me, I did not have to pay for before and after care for my son for this month. Nor, well, I'm counting my cleaning, even though I didn't have it done. I still put the money in the envelope, so I'm going to count that as used because the money is still in the cleaning envelope. So I'm going to subtract the $402 for daycare because I did not pay that this month. So my actual for my fixed expenses was $2,311.31. So this is where I ended up at as far as my variable and my fixed. And like I said, I will complete the rest of it off camera, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how, I just wanted to give you an idea of what my budget wound up looking like for the month of March. Overall, not bad. Like I said, a couple of elected overages that I decided to have, and I plan to make up for that next month because I won't need as much. So this is what it looked like for my monthly view. And just to look at my overview for a second before I end this video, I didn't plan very many goals because when I had wrote this out, I planned to revisit it and add a few more things. The only things I wind up updating is just like the school schedule stuff because I knew that school was out. But I did mark off, I did need to check this one off, but I did mark off all the bills that had been paid. And like I said, the childcare was not paid because school has been out. As far as my goals, my one goal that I had since I started my channel for this month is to just upload 4 videos. And I exceeded this. I believe I updated 5 for this month. So I'm happy about that. Starting next month, I'll have more goals added for April. Not necessarily all devoted to YouTube, but I will have other goals listed. For school right now, when I plan for next month, I'm not going to plan anything except the school closure because that's all I have to go on right now. But I may look at some of the lessons that they've sent home just to kind of plan out how I want my son to complete those. So more to follow on that, but this is just my school schedule area, so that's how I plan to proceed with that. For my reminders on the bottom here, I did have a few things that I was not able to get done this month, like renewing passports because we do have a summer trip planned for international travel, which I don't know that we're going to be able to do given the current situation. So I had to postpone passport renewals because if you don't know, for minors, you actually have to go in person to renew their passports, and at least one of my son's passports needs to be renewed. My husband's we can do through the mail, which we'll mail, but I had to postpone this. We were just going to do them both in person. But for now, we don't have photos or anything for my husband, so we're going to have to postpone it. I was able to get my driver's license, thank goodness. I did go and get my new driver's license because I needed a real ID or something, whatever they're calling it now, in order to be able to use my driver's license as ID. So if you guys haven't checked on your ID, make sure you check on your driver's licenses because toward the end of the year, hopefully it's extended, but as of right now, around the October, November timeframe, if you don't have a real ID, you won't be able to use your driver's license at the airports or any federal building or anything like that as a form of ID. I did have a doctor's appointment on the 12th. I canceled it, but I rescheduled and they did a phone visit. So I was able to speak to my doctor on the phone to get everything that we needed to get to discuss or get taken care of with prescriptions and things of that nature. So I was able to do that. My dryer off install, this actually was canceled because they scheduled an appointment and then never showed up. So that was a whole nother issue, but I wind up just returning the dryer and I said I'll just purchase it after this is all over with because I currently have a dryer, but I did want a new dryer. But that begs the question, I need to follow up with them because I still have not received my refund and it's been more than 2 weeks. So I haven't received a credit on my credit card, but that's a whole nother thing. So I don't want to keep rambling, but my monthly reflections, as I stated when I set up my budget, this is just going to be things. It could be a quote, a prayer, anything that I just want to focus on and reflect on in the future. I'll have those things listed here. If that's a photo or whatever it is, whatever I decide, I'll spend some time and put these things here. Once I complete the rest of my budget and everything like that, I'll spend some time doing that here. So that's just the way I use my monthly overview. If you use yours in a different way, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd like to see what ideas you have for this, because I know a lot of people either don't use this page or they use it in various different ways. So this is just the way that I found to use it that makes sense for me for right now. But I'll make the necessary changes as I see that they need to be, or as I decide to check it to show other things. So that's just it. I don't want to make this video terribly long. So that's my month of March wrapped up. I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride with me, and I hope to see you in April's videos. Bye for now.